Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please take a moment to leave a comment. Thank you. I'm not sure if it's a collection yet, but it's getting there. This was the first knife I ever picked up in stag bone. 5-inch toothpick by Marbles. And then I picked up the Marbles cattle knife, also in stag bone. It's got a spear blade and a really nice clip blade with a reverse frosted cattle knife on there. Really nice looking knife. 4¼ inches long closed. Look at that shield on there too. Really cool knife. And that's really why I picked up those two. This one because I always buy 5-inch toothpicks, and it was in stag bone. I didn't have one. And then the cattle knife because of the shield and the really interesting blades on it. Both of those were by Marbles, which are SMKW house brands. And then somewhere along the way, I ended up with this Colt-made hawkbill blade, and I'm not even sure how I got this one. I know I didn't buy it, so someone gave it to me at one time. It's got the little Colt C shield with pinch bolsters and a nice hawkbill blade with a nice swedge up on top. And if you can tell, it's got a half stop on that blade too, lanyard hole. Really cool looking knife. And then just recently I picked up another stag bone knife, so I guess there's something about stag bone that I like. And so here we have the latest by Rough Ryder in brown stag bone. You can tell this is an older one because it's got Rough Ryder with an I instead of a Y. Box number says RR1790, so that was probably either in 2017 or 2018 that it came out. Really nice magnetic box, very similar to what the old Colt line was in. So this is the brown stag bone that Rough Ryder picked up that used to be done in the Colt line. And so here's this wonderful big knife I picked up, and it's the little Cub RR1790. And let's compare this stag bone. Look at that. That is just beautiful. Another sign that you can see that this is from the old Colt line is notice the shields there. Both of them have the badge shield or the federal shield. The only difference is instead of saying Colt, now it says Rough Ryder. And you also see the C there has been changed to an R for Rough Ryder. People get confused. The line there is just the line underneath the R. It's not like a T or anything, so that's what that is. Same pinch bolsters too, but definitely a different knife. This is the little Cub Lock-Back, and still got a little swedge on the blade. Let me open this thing up, rock it around, clean it off a bit. So this is it, the full length of it. I mean, open. If we compare it to the 5-inch toothpick, man, does that look small. Even next to the this 4¼ inch knife, look, almost the same length. Actually, this is a little bit shorter than the cattle knife. Same length almost as the as your hawkbill here. Maybe a little bit longer than the hawkbill. Let's actually measure it. Measuring it, would you see that? It just barely tops out at 4 inches actually. And blade length, the blade is right at 1.5 inches. The cutting edge on the blade, 1¼ inches. So not a big knife at all. And you got a little finger choil there, so you can get a finger in there, and then 2 other fingers grab onto the handle. So it's a little knife in the hand, but actually it feels pretty good in there. I feel comfortable holding it. And the roughness of the stag bone, I guess over time that might cause a few hot spots or so, but it's not like I'm going to be doing really rough work with it and holding it for, hours at a time. Mostly I'll probably just end up using this to open up boxes and stuff. So use-wise, I think it's going to be great. The only downfall on it might be actually just how strong this lockback is, because you really got to depress it, And the back spring is strong, so you have to rotate that blade all the way around. It gets to about there before it'll close. So the snap isn't the world's greatest because it is a lock-back, and you have to rock it all the way back around too and pull it to open it because of well, just the way the lock-back is working on it. You can see definitely mirror polished. I have to keep wiping off that blade. Feels like a bit of a flat grind. Notice here you got the match striker pull, and if you notice there's a nice wedge on the top of that little spear point blade, so that really looks cool too. Finger toil, like I mentioned before, works really well. See there, 440 true sharp steel, or razor sharp steel rather, not true sharp, that's a different company. RR1790 China, so if that's a problem, you know what you got with it. But let's face it, it's really just a small, inexpensive knife, and I'm going to be using it for cutting cardboard. And if we see here, here's some cardboard. Push down. Yeah, I think it cuts pretty well. I know it cuts pretty well because I've been cutting a lot of cardboard with it. You can see it definitely cuts cardboard pretty well. Let's get it, well, that's the easy way to cut it. Plunging through it all. That's just a plunge cut. And if you got a small whittling chore too, I bet you it'll work pretty well with that. Cutting wood and even cutting back on things. You can get your hand in there and trim back into wood, so stripping bark off of small twigs and stuff, it'll probably work great for that too. If you want to skin a mouse, who knows. Also, the width of that blade, I don't think I talked about that. It's about a 1/2 inch thick, so you've got a good body on that blade, you know. Nice belly going on. Feels like a flat grind. Yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with this knife. If you see here, it's got stainless steel pins. That one's a little proud, but otherwise they're all pretty good. Transition into the nickel silver bolsters from the stag bone, pretty smooth. Got the brass liners. Everything looks pretty good there. Man, I almost cut myself. Better be careful. Brass liners could be shined up a little bit better. Nicely rounded going around. I guess there's a little flaw right there. Might have to polish that out. Nice and clean. Feels good down here too. Nice and smooth. Like I said, the lock is a little stiff. That might break in a little bit over time. But man, does that look nice. That really looks cool. I mean, even next to the big boy here with the old Colt, this one also looks pretty cool. And same with the marbles. The bone looks pretty darn good. I mean, the stag bone actually looks a little bit better than this marbles. The marble is one of the first one. This one's about 10 years old, so looks like Rough Ryder or Smoky Mountain Knife Works has learned a little bit about how to do their stag bone. They also make this little cub knife and other bone material too, like their buckshot bone and a couple other ones out there. But I like the stag bone, and it looks like I might be collecting it as into another one of my small collections of little stag bone knives. But this knife here definitely is going to be a user also. I really do like that little knife. It feels really good in the hand, and it's going to make an excellent little box cutter and probably an excellent little whittler too. So yeah, I'm real happy with the what was the number on there? RR1790 Cub Lock-Back. Looks like it's got great lines, great functionality, and just feels good in the hand. Really happy with it. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Knife Chats, and if you did, please like and share it with your friends. Comments are always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.